Our first issue that we wanted to bring up was the BMW that our client received as an award. And we do agree that based off of section 74B, that the $110,000 fair value of the car when it was received should be included in our client's taxable income. However, based off of section 170F12, which is contributions of used motor vehicles, we do believe that when our client donated his BMW to the WFDD radio station, that this became a non-cash contribution. So,
where did you donate the car, Mr. Paul?
To the radio station in Wake Forest.
Ah, in Wake Forest. I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah, it's a great school.
Great school.
Yeah, grew up there.
Cool. Very cool. And so you made the donation of the car?
Me and myself, no. I made the donation, but I had my my agent handle the whole contact with the radio station.
It's nice to have an agent.
Oh, it's very good.
Very nice, very nice. So you're in agreement that $110,000 should be an income, but you're trying to claim a charitable donation? Do you have any
Yes, we are.
documentation for that?
yes, we do. And so here is 170F12A, which is the contribution for used motor vehicles. And we, it has two acknowledgements we must obtain. And so the first one is a letter from the donee, which signifies that they did receive the automobile. And this is saying when they got title and possession, which was on November 10th, 2011. And the second piece of information is Form 8283, which we have right here. We went ahead and filled it out for you.
Great.
And so we believe that the amount that should be deductible is $74,321. Now we believe this because this is the price that the car was sold for from the NPR Vehicle Donation Program to Mossy Motors, and here's our sales agreement for that.
So they sold it, they didn't keep it in their business?
No, in what
I guess they don't really need a car.
Exactly.
BMW, like you can drive around in, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
And so they sell the car so that the money can be contributed to the WFDD radio station.
Yeah, and this all seems in order. Obviously, you really should have included that in income. I hope you realize that at this point. But I do applaud you for your generosity. I'm certain the radio station does as well. You are entitled to a deduction based on documentation, and it is equal to the sales price.
Okay, now we would like to talk about another non-cash charitable donation. Mr. Paul made a donation, which is artwork, Renton Church, to Wake Forest University. I think agent should your position that this donation is lack of all the documentation, so we disallow all the deduction. Our position is that first we want to show you some supporting evidence, a support document. We have an email written from President of Wake Forest to Mr. Paul. Basically, the email said they appreciate the donation and they display the donation in the Wake Chapel in Wake Forest. And here's an email.
That's great. I don't doubt that you made the donation, but I'm kind of a stickler for the rules, right?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
an IRS agent.
The donation was made in with the tax year 2011, and as the donee is Wake Forest, which is a educational organization. According to section 170A and 170B, we think it is a charitable donation.
Is all the documentation as well? Did you bring anything else?
Do we agree it's a charitable donation?
Yeah, I'm not doubting that it's charitable, but unfortunately, I believe, was it a $500,000 deduction you've taken?
Yeah,
How
we
would
think.
you support that? Do you have the appraisal that was
Yeah,
obtained?
we do. We have a appraisal which provided by Wake Forest University. The appraisal was conducted on June 15th, 2012, and which is a qualified appraisal by a qualified appraiser. Here's the documentation. The amount is $550,000. And this section 170F supported is a qualified appraisal. We know the date was in 2012, and the donation was happening in 2011. And we think 500,000 will be reasonable because there's an offer made to Mr. Paul in 2010 from Museum of American Art, and their offer amount was 500,000. We think that this would be a reasonable amount to deduct. As well, no.
That's what you took on the original return, right?
Yes.
So when did you file your tax return? This is our 2011 2011 tax return, is that right?
Yes.
And so this says, this is dated in
Yeah.
2012, so.
Yeah, that is 2012. The amount is 550,000, and they had an offer a year later, a year ahead before 2011.
500.
Yeah, it's 2010. We all know the artworks value is always rising up, and we feel 500,000 in 2010 would be a conservative amount.
Mhm.
We would like to deduct.
I thought, the way the code discusses these sorts of donations, the appraisal needs to be for when it was donated. So
Yes.
the value of the painting
Right,
when we donated it to the
But
school.
the thing is, when the school got a donation, they didn't do appraisal at that time.
You guys were
Mhm.
supposed to do an appraisal, I think.
Yeah, it's,
Yes.
you know, it's interesting though, this appraisal is completed before he filed his tax return. I mean, that is one of the main rules. Also, what's that form, I always forget that form, what's the form number you have to file?
Yeah, we
Do you have
already
that?
filled the form for you,
Ah.
added to 83.
Was
we
this attached to his return? Did you attach this to your return? I actually wasn't there to start with, right?
Yeah, but we filled it for him now, and we use 500,000 as a deduction.
So why did, Mr. Paul, why didn't you attach this to the return to start with? It's one of the primary requirements to be able to take this deduction.
I guess just wasn't aware of it at the time. I thought I was doing it the right way.
And we're here to help him to provide all the supporting documentation and fill
Well,
the
you have
form.
hired a good firm, Deloitte's a good firm, I'm glad you keep using a firm. What do you think, Ms. Ann? It's, there's a couple requirements, and obviously, this should have been attached to the return.
I just don't
right?
understand why it wasn't attached to start with.
But there is an exception, if there was a reasonable cause, and we saw for the form attachment, that's reason. The appraisal, there's really no leeway on that, but they did have an appraisal done before the return was filed. I mean, that's pretty decent evidence, and it appraised for more than what he deducted. I mean, I'm kind of in a good mood today. I really don't know why.
We certainly appreciate it.
Maybe because I'm a Chris Paul fan, right? Yeah, I got skills from back in the beat bar.
Maybe you can get a signature.
Yeah.
Get a signature after. We know you're pressed for time. We'll give you a signature afterwards if that's
Are
cool.
you okay with that, given the documentation?
Yeah, sure. We appreciate that, thank you.
All right, we'll move on, our time's limited.
The next issue is dealing with the bonds for Chris Paul and the interest income on those bonds. There are three that are listed here that are in question. First is the U.S. Treasury bond, and Mr. Paul, I'm not sure what happened, but he qualified those as tax exempt, and we agree with your determination that those are taxable on a federal return. So,
You don't think the United States is a state, huh?
no.
Interesting. Yeah.
The next is the American Samoa bond, and under Code 103, gross income does not include interest on state or local bonds, and American Samoa is a territory of the United States. And I actually have the code here, and it defines state as any territory or possession of the United States.
Forgot about that territory.
So we deem this to be tax
Wasn't that in your
exempt.
training last week?
So, have you ever been to this event?
It's a tricky item. We all had to do the research as well. We saw some of it we weren't sure,
That
but
seems pretty clear cut to me, I think we can allow that one.
Okay, and that's in the amount of $120,000. The next bond in question is the Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. This is a little tricky here. It's a private, not-for-profit entity. So normally it would be a private activity bond and wouldn't be tax exempt. We believe that it qualifies under the 501c3 as a charitable organization with the purposes of religious, charitable, scientific testing, or for public safety. And here's the documentation on that. And this is also their audited financial statements, which include that and indicate that it is a tax exempt organization.
He obviously specializes in a little more than I do. So what do you think about that?
That does seem fair.
Well, she says it's fair, I think it's fair.
All right, thank you.
so we agree with that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think so.
So I know you mentioned we have a loan that Chris lent to his cousin,
Yeah.
Jason,
His
that
cousin.
you said was entirely personal.
His
I wanted
cousin.
to go ahead and get your stance on that. Do we agree it's a non-business loan, bad debt? We can say it's a non-business bad debt.
Do you have any documentation regarding the loan document
Yeah, we
itself,
do.
or-
It qualifies a bona fide debt, one of the per section 166.
What is that?
defines what, a bad debt entails. So
Do you
for
have the loan document itself?
I do. I have the promissory note from Jason to our client Chris Paul, indicating the amount and the interest that we paid at a later date. Also, we have the amount. We have a letter from his cousin Jason indicating that he would no longer be able to pay. So we deemed at this point, and that's during 2011, which is the time, is the year of the return, that the accounts would be uncollectible at that point. And we also have supporting documentation regarding the uncollectability of the loan in his bankruptcy filing, which he actually filed in the following year.
I don't like to take this word. What is he doing today, your cousin?
He's actually in the Wake Forest MSA program.
Really?
Yeah, he hurt his knee playing not too long ago, so.
That's a great school. Why can't you pay back the loan? You go
Uh,
there, those
anytime.
people make tons
Well,
of
the
money when
loan
they
was
come out of school.
the loan was a basketball loan, and he was really trying to pursue that career. And once he went down, he had a major injury that didn't allow him to go forward, so he wasn't able. So now we had to write the loan off as uncollectible of that during 2011.
So you don't, I think originally you claimed that this was a business loan. You're really saying, it was my cousin, but it probably wasn't that much business to it.
Well, now that we've established it's an uncollectible loan, we can establish it's a business loan.
Well, it's either business or it's non-business. That doesn't, whether it's uncollectible,
It-
it's no bearing on that, right?
Yeah. All right. Well,
Is it business or is it non-business? I'm confused.
I'd like to make it business. I first wanted to, at least you acknowledge it as a bad loan, and then we could go to showing you how it's a business loan.
Let's see here. It does have a promissory note, and it's written, right? And interest was payable in arrears, so there really wasn't anything to pay back at this point in time. It's pretty strong evidence that there really was an intent to repay. We'll expect that.
Thanks so much.